Yo, what is up? Orion Tech Tips here, back at it with another video. In today's video, we will be comparing the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra to the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Originally, I wasn't going to do this video because I just thought it would be pointless because they're different. Like, you compare an iPhone to an iPhone and an Android to an Android. Or like a Samsung to a Samsung, but like they don't really compare to each other very well, at least in my opinion. However, I just saw everybody else was doing it, so I'm like, why? Like, this is missing views if I don't do this. So here I am posting this video on YouTube. Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra versus iPhone 11 Pro Max. Okay, so let's start with the prices. For the starting price of the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, it is $1,400 or $1,399, and then for the 11 Pro Max, it is $1,100 starting. So for the first time ever, the iPhone is significantly cheaper than the S20 Ultra, than the Samsung phone. However, these phones are no way even close to cheap. These are both premium smartphones. So yeah, these are not budget. These are high-end premium, very, very expensive. Personally, like, I didn't buy these phones because I can never even imagine spending this much on a phone. However, if you want to, that is why I am making this video. Personally, in my opinion, I'm just going to get this out right now. I think it's crazy to spend computer, like $1,400, that's pretty much, I spent a little bit more than that on my desktop where I edit these videos. Like, this is just crazy to me. And it, like, goes over, like, some Samsung Galaxy phones, I think, go, like, they're around 2,000. That's just insane. Okay, so with the price out of the way, for the displays, we are getting a 6.9-inch AMOLED display, 1440p, or 1080p, 120 hertz, and then for the iPhone, you get a 6.5-inch OLED, 2688 by 1242. That's a pretty much equivalent to 1440p. And then that is at 60 hertz. And then rear cameras, you're getting a 108 megapixel camera on the S20 Ultra, a 48 megapixel telephoto, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and a time of flight sensor as well. And these are f1.8, f3.5, f2.2. Of course, you're also getting the standard wide-angle lens. Okay, and then for the iPhone, you have a triple lens, 12 megapixel, all three of them, wide, ultra wide, and telephoto, f1.8, f2.0, f2.4. And then for the camera zooms, you get a 10x zoom optically on the, you can zoom 10 times optically on the S20, or 100 times digitally. For the iPhone, you get to zoom 2 times optically and 10 times digitally, which doesn't really stack up. However, I will say, and I'm sure if I don't mention this, someone's going to bash me in the comments for it. However, the 100 times zoom, it's so bad, I'd almost say it's unusable. So really, realistically, you're probably not going to go much above 30x. However, that's still more than the 10x zoom you get with the iPhone. I use an iPhone and I haven't really struggled with, like, I zoom 10x and it looks just fine. I'm like, oh, I wish I could get closer. Not really. I'm okay with 10x. 30x would be nice, but 100x just really isn't usable, even though the feature is there. Front cameras, you were looking at 40 megapixels f2.2 on the S20 Ultra, and then 12 megapixels f2.2 as well on the iPhone. For the cellular networks, you are getting 5G speeds sub 6 gigahertz and millimeter wave, and that is for Verizon. I think that's the only thing that's offering millimeter wave right now. March 20, March 20 something. Okay. And then, however, this is where really the iPhone takes a hit. This is 4G LTE, which really doesn't stack up to 5G at all. Yeah. Again, 4G on my iPhone, it's completely fine. However, 5G, like, millimeter wave especially, like, it will be downloading, like, really, it can download really fast speeds, like over 1,000. If you want, Marquez made a video about that, so check that one out. I'd highly recommend it. Okay, so for video, 8K resolution for max 8K resolution, 24 FPS on the S20 Ultra, which is nice. I don't think any other smartphone does that, so that's there if you want it. And then 24 FPS, so keep that in mind. It's not the smoothest, but it's still 8K. It's just not very smooth. And then 4K 60 FPS for an iPhone. And that's not really good at all, considering you can buy an iPhone 8 for around $300, which can do 4K 60. Doesn't really look much different. So, yeah, it's not really an upgrade for the 11 Pro. And then for the CPU, it is the Qualcomm Snapdragon 865, extremely powerful. For the iPhone is the Apple A13 Bionic chip, also extremely powerful. They're both blazing fast. You'll have no issues with either, so they're both great. For RAM, it is 12 gigs. On the base model, and if you upgrade it, you will also get 16 gigabytes of RAM. And then for the iPhone, it's 4 gigs all models of the 11 Pro Max. Yeah, so this really does come into play for RAM management. So if you close out an application, you go into another application, and then you try to go back to the other application, sometimes it closes on the iPhone, but on the Samsung, it will always stay open. With the 12 or 16 gigabytes of RAM, it doesn't really make a difference. It'll still be good to go for RAM management and speed. For the iPhone, 4 gigabytes definitely does take a hit for sure. All I can say is I hope for more in the iPhone 12. For storage, you have 128 gigabytes for to start with, and 512 gigabytes if you max out your S20 Ultra. For the iPhone, it's 64, which is $1,100, 256, and then 512 is maxed out. So both of them have the same max 512. However, micro SD, you can expand it on the S20 Ultra, and you can't with the iPhone 11, which I will say that is kind of unfortunate because 64 gigabytes isn't really enough for some people, and you can just be like, oh yeah, well, all you have to do is buy iCloud storage. But my counter to that is like, well, what if you want to download like Spotify, Netflix, and like download applications off the App Store? iCloud storage doesn't help for that. You need local storage, and 64 gigabytes sometimes just isn't enough. So I hope to see that upgraded, because 64 that's not, no, that's not enough. Micro SD card is expandable up to 1 TB on the S20 Ultra. So in case you're interested in that, that is an option to you. And then battery size, it's 5,000 milliamp hours on the S20 Ultra, and then 4,000 milliamp hours on the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Why do I keep having to say that? Those are long names. Or if you want to be exact, it's exactly 5,000 on the S20 Ultra, and then it is 3969 on the 11 Pro Max. Okay, so for size, it is 0.34 inches in size, and then 0.32 on the iPhone. So 0.34 on the Samsung, 0.32 on the iPhone. For weight, it is 0.7 ounces on the Samsung, and then 7.97 on the iPhone. That is kind of confusing numbers. Yeah. Okay, with all the specs out of the way, let's talk about real-world usage. I personally think if you are looking to upgrade and you have the money to go to, like, if you actually have the money to upgrade to one of these astronomically expensive smartphones, then I'd say if you are enjoying the like operating system that you're already in, so if you're on like a older Samsung or an older Android phone, then just go with the S20 Ultra and you'll enjoy it. And then if you're on an older iPhone and you like it, just go with the 11, go with the iPhone 11 Pro Max. There is also smaller versions of these. The iPhone 11 Pro is the same exact thing, just with a smaller screen and a slightly smaller battery. And then, however, with the S20 Ultra, if you go down to the standard S20, you'll be missing some features. So definitely keep that in mind. What else to mention? I definitely think, just be careful, like, if you're on if you want to switch your operating systems, because I went from, like, I had an iPhone 6S, and then I was kind of curious about Android because I saw, like, all the really cool features, and, like, ooh, I kind of want to try that. So then, I bought, when I was done with my iPhone 6S, I bought my LG V20. I'm like, cool. And then I really, like, I enjoyed it at first, but then I'm like, wait, like, there were some iOS things that, like, I didn't really know that were exclusive to iOS, but then they were. Like, a month into it, I contact someone, and I'm like, hey, do you want to FaceTime? And then we were, like, trying a whole bunch of things, and then I'm like, what's wrong? And then I realized it's only an iPhone thing. And then I'm like, what? And then I didn't know that before, that it was just an iPhone thing. So, like, that was kind of, yeah, kind of disappointing. And then other games that I put in the iPhone weren't available on Android. So I was just so used to the iPhone, and then, like, no, I can't do this anymore. So then I owned it for about a year, and then I switched back to iPhone. So that was my story of switching to Android, and no, I didn't really enjoy it. So yeah, I'll actually make a story. I might make a story time about that, because that was actually a fairly interesting year for me. But yeah, that's all I got for you. Hopefully you took some of my advice, or at least you took into account something that I mentioned. So definitely like or dislike, I don't really care. If you do try to comment and you can't, no, I did not personally disable comments sometimes YouTube disable comments on my videos. I don't know why. They also sometimes they also take away my likes and my dislikes so you can't see them. I also don't know why. I know they had like this new child safety thing. I don't know what that's about. So I'm sorry if you can't comment or like or dislike my video. Just know that's all YouTube. That's not my fault. YouTube is doing it, not me. So yeah, that's all I wanted to mention. Alright, take care. Peace out.